Hello everyone. Today I want to go over 4 types of correctional officers, or 4 types of behavior by correctional officers. Now, we've all seen all 4 of these. Some are good and some will frustrate you to death while you're working your shift. Let's go over some of them. Hi, I'm Gary York, True Prison Stories. Please subscribe if you like this video. I'm going to start out with the officer that does 99% of the work, as many say, and 99% is exaggerating a bit, but the officer that does the majority of the work in the dorm when you're partnered up with them or others. The 99% officer is usually a type A personality, wants to get the job done, wants to get the job done correctly, is willing to help other officers at any given moment, willing to back up other officers, willing to teach officers that don't know the job and try to help them learn their job and their job responsibilities. Now, unfortunately, the officer that does the majority of the work is the one who gets burned out the quickest. And that's sad. This officer needs to make sure that their partners are helping. And no, I'm not talking about running to your supervisors and saying, Johnny's not helping me. Speak directly with your partner or partners, if that be the case in some dormitories or some job assignments, and say, hey, I'm not going to do this all by myself. You guys need to pull your weight, or you need to pull your weight. So get on the job here. You know, if you don't do that as a type A officer, you're going to burn yourself out fast. You're going to want to do everything yourself so that you know it gets done right. And about 3 years to 5 years down the road, you're going to feel like you have done a 25-year career. So I love this type of officer, and I was actually this type of officer, and I had to tell myself, okay, I need to get this dude to pitch in and do their job. So I would just walk up to the officer not doing their part and say, look, I'm not doing this all by myself. Okay, you're not going to keep running out of the dorm to who knows where. And we're going to get to those type of officers shortly as one of the 4 types of officers we run into on the job. You've got to stand up and get your partners to help when they're not helping, or you will burn yourself out quickly. This type of officer also does not like kiss asses or those that play both sides of the fence. And when that happens, just you need to approach the other officer and say, look, you're assigned here with me in this dormitory or wherever the job assignment is, not down there with the sergeant or the lieutenant in their office, okay? You need to get your rear end down here and help me. You can say it in any way you feel is the way you need to get the message across, okay? I know this is corrections, and I know we can be pretty blunt. Sometimes you may have to be blunt to get some of these folks in gear and get them to work where they're supposed to be working. Okay, so that's the officer that does the majority of the work, kind of in a nutshell. Let me know what you think about the officer who does most of the work and gets burned out quickly because of it. Now we have the one that has no idea what's going on, okay? As in the photo I have here, it has no idea what's going on the whole time. Well, now let me tell you something about this kind of officer. In many situations, this type of officer does have energy. This type of officer is willing to work. They'll do the rounds. They'll get the caustics out for the inmates to clean. They'll move inmates. But when it comes to critical situations, this officer kind of hesitates, backs off. Maybe when it comes time to do paperwork, they back off and try to get someone else to do the paperwork for them. Well, listen, folks, this doesn't mean this officer is lazy. This doesn't mean that this type of officer is not going to be there for you, but it means that this officer does not know how to perform their job duties for lack of training, for some reason or another. lack of knowledge of policies and procedures. So we need to give this officer a hand. This officer has no idea what's going on. Does not mean that we cannot make them a good officer. It does not mean that this officer has no heart. It does not mean that this officer is lazy. Okay, you have to remember and differentiate between lazy officers, which we're going to talk about in a little bit, officers who want to play both sides of the house, and then this officer who has no idea what's going on. This officer needs us to guide them and teach them, and then they will become good officers. And there is hope for this type of officer, the one who has no idea what's going on. I love this photo because the person that they used in this photo that has no idea what's going on, actually, if you familiar with that movie, that person was willing to do things for people and help, just didn't know what the heck to do, didn't know what was the right thing to do. So if this type of person is failing to perform with you on duty or with others, give them a chance. Teach them, give them the training materials they need, give them the policies and procedures and an understanding of that. Show them what to do. Some people can read forever, folks. This type of person may need hands-on training. No, you're going to do this. You're going to do the report. I'm right here. I'll help you. Get on that computer and start typing that report. And once they do some hands-on training, and if you help them and not be the lazy officer who won't help them, and not be the officer who's gone all the time and not available to help them, be that officer that does everything and helps others. And we can turn people like this who have no idea what's going on into a solid player. And now we have 50% of the crew on board. The ones who do work hard. Now we've changed this person who has no idea of what's going on into a good officer. Okay, 50% taken care of. Now the next two are the ones that need a lot of work. They may even need some harsh reality training, some harsh reality speaking to, okay? And here's the next one. Says he's going to help, but is not. So the officer, he or she, that does not help. The problem here, in many of the cases, is complacency, laziness, and I don't care attitude. I don't like this job anymore. I don't want to be here. Well, guess what? I'm not a big person for telling people, you don't like it, leave. Because, you know, we can take some of these people and change them. But sometimes these type of people that are complacent, lazy, I don't care, they're the ones that are going to get another officer hurt or another prison staff member hurt. They're dangerous. They've gotten to the point where they are not alert anymore. Their head is not on a swivel. This person, I don't really have a problem saying, look, if this job is just that bad for you and it's driving you nuts and it's making you that lazy, I would tell them that. That's making you this lazy. It's making you this complacent. You're going to get one of us hurt here. You might as well just go down to the warden's office or human resources right now and turn in your letter of resignation, because you're probably saving us. We might be able to get another person in your place that's willing to work and do something. The person who says they'll help but they never help is a problem. You have to be tough in corrections. And I'm sorry, if you're going to make it a 25-year career or a 20-year career if you're in the federal system, or if your state has a 20-year career, you have to stay on the ball. That's just all there is to it. You have to keep your head on a swivel. And if you hate the job, you don't want to be here, this person, this type officer, number 3 that I'm talking about, maybe it is time to go, okay? Number 4 is the real pain in the butt, if you ask me. Disappears at the beginning of the shift and does not show up until the end. Well, that's not fully true, because in most cases, they have to be there for count. They know that, because if they're wandering around doing nothing, they're going to be seen doing nothing. They have to be there for feeding time, for meals, because if they're not, they're going to be told, where are you supposed to be? Get over there. But this type of person that disappears a lot during the shift, in my experience, is normally the kiss-up, playing both sides of the fence with the co-workers and the supervisors and the administration. They're hanging out in the sergeant's office or the lieutenant's office, and they wiggle their way into little extra duty jobs like cleaning out the files for the sergeant or lieutenant, and putting files together for them. I've seen them even wiggle their way into cleaning out the supply room for the sergeants and the lieutenants. Now, you supervisors who allow this to happen, you're just as guilty. You're just as guilty as they are. A good supervisor will not allow this to happen. They'll say, why are you hanging out in the sergeant's office? You need to get back down to your duty assignment and do your job. But now, folks, we've all seen these supervisors that let this happen. These are the ones that also won't show up when you're in trouble and there's a use of force, or they're so far away from the use of force, you need backup, and by the time they get there, it's over. The incident is over. They're not there where they need to be to help you in the time of need. You know, this is just uncalled for. And I'm going to go ahead and say it. I've seen these type of people get promoted over others. So when this happens, there's others see this and they go, dang, that ass kissing kind of worked out for him or her. I want to be a sergeant. I want to move up the ladder. Let me start my brown nosing now. You know what? It brings down the morale of all these hardworking officers. The first officer I told you about doing most of the work, oh, they don't like these people. You've got people on the floor doing all the hard work while these others are going to do their little brown nose duties for everybody. And yes, these people here that I'm talking about now that disappear, they're also taking classes to better themselves in the business and getting that degree so they look good when they put in for sergeant or lieutenant. But they're not doing the damn job at all. But now what have they done? They've brown-nosed their way to the top. They get on the promotion list. Oh, look, they have a bachelor's degree. Oh, look, they have their master's degree. And the sergeants and lieutenants say, yeah, admin, they're always there when we need them. Yeah, did you tell the admin what they're doing? Doing all your work, sergeant and lieutenant, kissing your butt. It's happened, folks. You know it has. I know it has. We've all seen it. That's promoting low morale among the ranks. And for those supervisors that don't take care of those problems, shame on you. Shame on you. People like this are never around to back you up when you need them. That's just, in a nutshell, 4 types of behavior of officers we've seen and worked with, 4 types of officers we've worked with, and we need to really fix number 3 and 4. Number 2, the person that doesn't know what's going on, we can fix that. We can fix that ourselves. We don't need supervisors or admin. We can all jump in as fellow officers and fix that person. They usually can be fixed. But these others, you know, they really need you need the backing of the supervisors to fix the 3rd and the 4th category that I just told you about. And if they're not there to help you fix it, these people are going to continue to take advantage of that and not do their job in the dorms or wherever they're assigned, and continue to be wandering around, looking busy, acting busy. Just a little food for thought, folks. If you like the video, please subscribe. Thank you very much for watching. Gary York, True Prison Stories.